Hi there! It's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap. And today we're recapping an anime called Aharon-san is Unfathomable. So sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime opens with Rado, a very ordinary high school boy. And his aim is to have 100 friends in the high school. Due to possessing a naturally unfriendly face, he struggles to fit in and tries to become friends with Reina Aharon, a girl who is not good at keeping a good distance with others. She sits beside Rado in class. He is baffled when he talks to Aharon, because she speaks too softly, making him think she is ignoring him. Aharon then becomes extremely close to Rado after he retrieves her fallen eraser. Rado asks for an explanation of her behavior, so she reveals she has a warped sense of distance that makes it difficult to judge when she is invading someone's personal space. When she stands too close she seems clingy, and when she stands too far away she appears antisocial, so she struggles to make friends. Initially Rado struggles to hear when she speaks, but eventually finds that he is able to hear her, as practice makes him more sensitive to small noises. At an arcade, Aharon's warped sense of distance makes her an expert on claw machines, and wins many toys from the game, giving most to Rado, but accepting one from him. As time passes, Aharon keeps getting increasingly close to Rado, even falling asleep on his lap after being exhausted from making him lunch that morning. At the same time, they are menacingly observed from afar by a girl. The next day at school, Aharon has something in her eye, so Rado administers eye drops to her. Aharon claims having him close to her face is embarrassing, confusing Rado as she often comes closer on her own. Rado senses someone spying on him, so Aharon makes him feel better with a hug. The spy is Aharon's childhood friend, Mitsuki Oshiro, a tall, nervous girl who cries a lot and doesn't trust boys. She declares she will protect Aharon, but from a distance to avoid Rado. Aharon tries to communicate to Rado that his zipper is exposing his underwear, but ultimately has to spend the day blocking his lower body from view when he does not understand her. Oshiro notices Aharon hasn't gone home and suspecting she doesn't have an umbrella, so she tries to covertly give Aharon her own but is caught. She and Aharon share an umbrella, but due to their height difference, Aharon still gets wet. She thanks Oshiro anyway, pointing out she knows Oshiro follows her and Rado home every day, but isn't good at hiding. The next day, Oshiro watches Aharon from even further away using binoculars. Rado challenges Aharon to a game of reversi. He realizes with her unusual vision, Aharon is actually a skilled reversi player, ultimately calling a draw after the bell rings. The next day, Aharon comes to school with a messy hair. Luckily, Oshiro's family owns a hair salon, so she is able to give Aharon a haircut. She also cuts Rado's hair, despite being tempted to shave him bald. Aharon is suffering from dry lips, so Rado attempts to apply lip balm on her lip but messes up. Oshiro steps in again with makeup and a skin massage. Aharon later reveals she is stressed, due to the growth spurt of the boy who sits in front of her, so now she can't see the chalkboard from her desk. Rado attempts several increasingly ludicrous methods of helping her, but eventually just moves her desk closer to his own. A seat change is announced, meaning Rado and Aharon might no longer be sat next to each other. Deciding to do something nice for her, Rado tries to help her win at baseball, then cooks for her, in spite of his terrible food. He also helps her record them dancing together, believing she wants to be a YouTube idol. Though it turns out, it was a class project and the video is a YouTube failure. On seat moving day, Aharon hugs Rado as a goodbye, only to remain in the same place, as by chance they are reassigned to their original seats beside each other. The class teacher, Ms. Toburu, is obsessed with classical romance. She notices Aharon and Rado, and determines they are tightly emotionally linked, and is so overcome by passion watching them that she faints. Aharon begins acting strangely, causing Rado to think she is possessed by a demon, but it turns out she was choking on food. Realizing he needs to understand her better, he tries to teach her facial expressions, but it fails. Aharon discovers Japanese hip-hop and quickly masters it, and starts rapping everything she says. Rado also learns to rap, and they begin communicating perfectly, until their microphones are confiscated, as they are banned in school. Rado's sister gives him a fidget spinner, which Aharon becomes obsessed with it, and teaches herself to perform tricks. Watching them, Ms. Tabara faints again. In the park, Rado tries to learn some spinner tricks from Aharon. Surprisingly, this have made her popular with the children. One little girl named Futaba is jealous that her friend Akuen admires Aharon and challenges her to a match of reversi. Aharon lets Futaba win, but despite her victory, Akuan is mean to her. So Aharon makes him apologize to her. Aharon is exhausted by the children and cannot walk, so she summons her giant dog, Nui, whom she rides back home. Aharon becomes obsessed with the game Hokoko, which Rado has the strongest creature in the game, but is still defeated by Aharon, because of her superior strategy. At an arcade, Aharon sees Futaba, attempting to win the stuffed toy of Rado's creature in the game, for Akan, so as to achieve his affection. She fails multiple times, while Aharon wins several toys. Insisting on doing it herself, Futaba wins a toy on her last attempt. She later realizes Aharon, by winning all the other toys, had been maneuvering the toy into a better position for Futaba to get it. Aharon gives her toys to Rado, who adds them to his collection. Rado gains a lot of weight, and Aharon worries it is because she gives him her lunch every day. Meanwhile, Rado mistakenly thinks Aharon is worried about her own weight, and while researching proper diet and exercise routines, he ends up losing the weight overnight. Exams are just around the corner, and Rado has not been studying, so he asks for Aharon's help. They study together, determined to finish in the top 100 in the rankings. After studying, Aharon hugs Rado, glad that she finally did something to help him for once. Thanks to their sessions, Rado manages to place in the top 100 in the exam. Aharon cannot swim, and since Rado is not a strong swimmer either, they ask Oshiro to teach them. After grasping the basics, they decide to race in the pool. Aharon wins, after discovering that swimming underwater is easier, and that she can hold her breath for an extraordinary length of time. They also compete at table tennis, 10-pin bowling and basketball. Because they are both really bad at sports, every game ends in a draw. They then finally compete on an arcade shooting game, which Aharon wins due to her warped sense for distance, which allows her to score perfect headshots. Aharon then excuses herself to go to the bathroom. But when she returns, she suddenly begins acting differently, and even has trouble winning toys on a crane game, requiring Rado to win one for her. Her continued strange behavior leads Rado to believe either she has sudden amnesia or was replaced by a clone. The real Aharon suddenly appears, revealing the new Aharon is actually her little brother, Ren, who bears a striking resemblance to Aharon. Ren enjoyed playing a prank on Rado, but when he returns home, it is revealed that he enjoys dressing like a girl, and often borrows Aharon's clothes. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the videos on the screen to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload. Bye!